Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome everybody. Sit down, get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a biscuit. Join us for That Saturday Feeling, episode 20. You'll see Nick and I, we're normally wearing our Derby top or our Wrexham top. We're both in work clothes. It's been a busy work day, hasn't it, Nick?
It has. I've literally walked onto the microphone following a 3-hour journey back from London. And I got the train up this afternoon. I've been working in London all day. Got the train up, drove back from the station. You'll know this, Ken. And anybody who's ever been to Derby, UK will know this. Driving around Derby, UK is a pain in the backside. So it took me
is horrible.
Almost a third the amount of time to drive 3 miles back from the station as it did to get up on the train from London. And I literally walked into the house, sat down, straight on the microphone.
What a pro. What an absolute pro you are. And I'm not talking professional. Right. Okay. We've got a lot to talk about today. But first, as we're tending to do at the moment, is we just reflect very briefly on the most important question in football, which is, are Leicester, Derby and Wrexham going to end up in the same league next year? Leicester are confirmed crap. They are relegated. But how bad a Derby? Are they going to survive in the Championship? And are Wrexham going to come up? So over to you, our Derby correspondent. What do you reckon? It was a funny weekend, wasn't it?
Everybody knows who knows anything about English football knows that the Easter weekend is absolutely pivotal because we play 2 games in a very short space of time. And when you're in a league like the Championship, which is obviously one level below the Premier League, it has been named, for very good reason, the most competitive football league in the entire world. And it probably is. And this season more than ever, because you've got teams at the top fighting to go up, you've got teams at the bottom fighting to stay up. And down at the bottom, you've got 6 or 7 teams who could still get relegated with 2 games to go. It's incredibly tight down there. Derby had a very mixed weekend. It started off on Good Friday with a very dispiriting and rather miserable home defeat 1-0 to Luton Town, who are one of only 3 teams at that stage who are below us in the table.
That was abysmal.
That was abysmal.
As a neutral, that was one of the most abysmal first half performances of any team in the history of football.
You're not far off. But then, against all odds, although maybe perhaps not, we went to West Brom on Monday and won 3-1 against a team that was fighting for the playoffs. And the extraordinary nature of the Championship will tell you that until quite late on, when Cardiff were pegged back, up until that moment, all bottom 7 teams were winning, which is unbelievable. I mean, it's unheard of. These are 7 teams who are the worst 7 teams of the league. They were all winning. Cardiff got pegged back. So 6 out of the 7 teams ended up winning, which means for a club like Derby, and Luton will say the same, and Hull will say the same, that you think, fantastic, a really important win, but actually it doesn't take you anywhere. It just kind of keeps you where you are. So we haven't gained ground, but we haven't lost ground. There are 2 games to go. We sit 1 place above the relegation zone.
Same number of points, just better goal difference.
Same number of points as Luton Town, but we've just got a much better goal difference. And it rolls on. And this coming Saturday, we've got Hull City away, and Hull are another one of the teams who are in it. So we could go above Hull if we beat them on Saturday. Luton play before us. But the reality is also that if Luton lose and we win, and we'll know what Luton do by the time we kick off, by the way. If Luton lose and we win, it's all over. We stay up. We stay up for next season. Because although the teams below us could catch us, the maximum they could do is draw level with us, and we've got a far superior goal difference to any of them. So it could all be over. Equally, the chances are it'll go to the very last game of the season.
I think we're looking at 2 draws. I think Luton will draw, and I think Derby will draw at Hull. Now, in League One, something strange has happened. All we've been talking about recently is Birmingham have won it, but then it's Wrexham, Wycombe, Wycombe, Wrexham, Wrexham, Wycombe, Wycombe, Wrexham. And that's how it's been for 20 weeks until the emergence of the dark horse that is Charlton Athletic, who have come from nowhere and are now only 4 points behind Wrexham and only 2 points behind Wycombe. So Wrexham are in second, 2 points ahead of Wycombe, and then it's Charlton. But here's the kicker. Charlton beat Wycombe 4-0 at Wycombe at the weekend absolutely destroyed them. One of the best performances I've seen in League One for quite some time. Problem is, who have Wrexham got on Saturday? Charlton. So Wrexham, unbeaten haven't lost in 6 against Charlton, who have won 5 out of the 6, who are absolutely on fire. So the horrible scenario is, I think Wycombe aren't going to get up there now because they've got 2 very hard games to come. They're away at Leighton Orient, who are in 6th. They've won the last 4.
Yeah, they're on form. Yeah, Orient.
Yeah, they're a good team. Stockport, last game of the season at home. Stockport are 5th. I just don't think they're going to win either of those games, actually. But if Charlton beat us at the weekend at Wrexham, suddenly Charlton are 1 point behind us. And then we're away at Lincoln. Can't see that. We can't see us getting more than a point there. Charlton have got Burton Albion, who are either safe or relegated.
Yeah.
By the last day. So I've got a horrible, horrible feeling that Charlton are going to come on the rails where the 2 front runners are looking at each other, trying to get ahead. And there comes the Charlton steam train down the rails to pip us in the end. I mean, I can see it happening.
Other than Birmingham City, it has only been Wycombe and Wrexham for a long time. For a long, long time, it's been those 3, with Birmingham being way ahead most of the time. Do you know what my dream scenario is, Ken? Do you know what my dream scenario again?
What?
My dream scenario is on the last day of the season with Charlton 1 point behind you. They beat Burton Albion. And then it's 0-0 between Wrexham and Lincoln until the 90th minute, when substitute and on-loan Derby County striker James Collins comes onto the pitch, as he did at Reading last week. He came onto the pitch and scored within 10 seconds and to give Lincoln the win. He comes on with 10 seconds to go, heads in a goal.
An own goal, presumably.
No, a real goal, which sees Charlton promoted, Wrexham put into the playoffs, and it's all thanks to a Derby County striker.
Oh dear. Well, stranger things have happened. There's a lot of strange things going on in that league at the moment. Anyway, talking about the Championship, and hurrah and congratulations and all those things to Leeds and Burnley, because they've been promoted from the Championship. First question, everybody's lips. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Have they any chance of staying in the Premier League?
Not as things stand, because neither of them are particularly good sides. Look, they've done very well this season, but they've done very well in arguably the poorest Championship season or Championship League for quite some time. And I think that's notable by the amount of teams beating each other in terms of top teams being beaten by bottom teams. I referred to it just a few moments ago. Anybody can beat anybody in this league, but fair play to them. They both sit on 94 points with 2 games to go, so they could both actually reach 100 points, which is amazing. And on the face of it, looks incredible. But as we've seen in the last couple of years particularly, the gap between the Championship and the Premier League is huge.
Yeah.
It is huge. I mean, look at what's happened to Southampton, who went up last season. And a lot of people, myself included, thought of the 3 teams who are going up, Southampton actually play the better football and have got a chance. And look at them. They've been relegated and they've got the joint worst record in football history, Premier League history anyway. As things stand, they've still got a few games to go before to try and get another point to get over that 11-point mark. But I don't think Leeds are that good. Burnley have been. Let's be honest. Really, really, really pleased for Scott Parker because I like him.
Everyone likes him.
My goodness, they have bored their way to success. 11 0-0 draws this season. They have just been the draw specialists, the ball specialists, winning games by a very narrow margin. They've scored 61 goals, which is 28 less than Leeds. Leeds have scored 28 more goals this season.
They just don't score goals.
Amazingly, well, they've scored in 44 games. They've let in 15 goals.
Astonishing, that.
I mean, 15 goals conceded in 44 Championship League.
That's remarkable. What that cries out to me is they've got no chance of staying in the Premier League because they just won't score enough goals.
Well, it's 2 things, really. One, they won't score enough goals. And secondly, it's very likely their goalkeeper, who's been their absolute bedrock upon which everything is built, is going to go to Newcastle. He's going to go to Newcastle. So they've been after him for ages. And this summer, Nick Pope hasn't really been no, not really. He hasn't been as good as people expected, I think. And James Trafford, the Burnley goalkeeper, I think is very much now in the sights of Newcastle United.
He's a hot property.
He's hot property. He's a really, really good keeper. Really good. So Burnley, I think, will struggle. They won't score enough goals. The defence is going to have to be reshapen if they lose their goalkeeper, and likewise Leeds, and whoever goes up with them is going to be even harder. So the only way to do it is to spend big. Unfortunately, and I hate saying that because it kind of goes against every principle. But look at what Nottingham Forest
have done at Wrexham, and we believe in that.
Well, that's what you do, and that's why nobody likes you. Nottingham Forest did it a couple of years ago. They spent £200 million in the first season, just about stayed up. Spent another £200 million, and now look at them, third in the league, absolutely. And doing brilliantly. So that's the only way to do it, I'm afraid. Is to chuck money at it, because Championship play is very, very hard. Ipswich romped the league last year. They're going to get relegated this year.
Yeah, they are.
I say they romped the league. They were probably the best team in the league, even though they finished second. Leicester finished top. But I actually think Ipswich were the better footballing side out of the two.
Well, there's certainly a better footballing side than Leicester at the moment. So, but it just raised the question. I was looking at the teams who are coming up with them, and it looks like it's pretty settled now. Sheffield United, Sunderland, Bristol City, and Coventry in the playoffs. All of them in terrible form. So Sheffield United have won 2 out of 6. Sunderland have lost the last 3. Bristol City have won 3 out of 6, half decent, probably the form team. Coventry have won 2 out of 6. It speaks again to the competitiveness of the Championship, but the teams in 3rd to 6th, every team lost on Easter Monday. Just like we said, every team in the bottom 7 won. Every team in the top 6, or certainly in 3 to 6, lost. So none of those teams really inspire confidence, but you've got to pick one, Nick, who are going to go up with Leeds and Burnley. Who's going up with them?
Well, the surprise package of those 4 is undoubtedly Bristol City. Yeah. And out of them, they're probably the form team. They have been nobody expected them to really be where they are. Coventry, likewise. I mean, look, when Frank Lampard took over, they were nowhere, and they've had a really good run under Frank, and they've got a good front line. You would expect them to score goals. Sheffield United, can they recover what's been a massive collapse at the end of the season? I mean, it's not long ago they were top of the table and looked like they were going to storm it. That's been a massive collapse by Sheffield United.
He's a popular manager, Wilder, isn't he? Not.
Absolutely not. No. And actually, for that reason alone, I hope they don't do it. Literally for that reason alone, I'd like to see Sunderland back up there. They've got a young, vibrant, energetic squad, but you wonder whether they've just run out of legs. And also, you and I both know, Ken, at this stage of the season, experience counts for everything, and they don't have the experience. They really doesn't. When you go into playoffs, playoff games are unbelievably tense and very, very difficult to manoeuvre your way around. So it may be Bristol City as a surprise package, the team with momentum, or Coventry, and they're the 2 teams who have come into the fray quite late, and they've come into the playoffs broadly on a decent run of form over the last 10, 15 games.
Yep, I think that's right. It's a poor quality competition to go up in third place. I don't think any of them are going to trouble anybody in the Premier League, but that's for another day. Now, quick mention about Zencastr, because here at Global Sports Podcast Network, of course, I didn't say that Saturday Feeling. It's all part of Global Sports Podcast Network. I mean, you'll never find a better global podcast network involved in sport.
You mucked up the intro well and truly.
I did, didn't I? But you know what I mean. But here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we did spend a lot of time selecting our delivery partner. And our delivery platform we use is Zencastr. It's a clear winner. It is clearly the Leeds United of hosting platforms. So 4K video recording from your phone, AI editing, automatically removes all their mums and ahs and things like that. It's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is efficiently delivered. So when you're ready to tell your story, are you ready to tell your story, Nick?
Always ready to tell my story, my friend.
Excellent. Check out the link in the show notes then and learn more about Zencastr. So I heard a weird rumour earlier, and it's not about you, Nick. It's about Daniel Farke. I read that there is a rumour that as soon as the season's over, Farke is going to get sacked from Leeds. The reason being, although he got them up as champions probably, the general view is he's not a Premier League manager. It's a very harsh perspective. If it's true, it might just be hearsay. But if it's true, is there a case for a club taking an absolutely harsh, cold business decision and saying, thanks for getting us where you've got us, see ya. We need someone else in the Premier League?
I think it's becoming much more than just a rumor you've read on the internet. There's a lot of chatter about this now, and if it was completely and utterly untrue, it would have been shut down. It's not been shut down. There's a growing sense that it's going to happen, and it doesn't surprise me. His record in the Premier League is 6 wins out of 49 games. It's abysmal, and Leeds are a club that are now owned by 49ers Group. They're a massive club. They're a big industry. They've got high hopes for Leeds United.
Yeah.
And they won't want to see them come straight back down again. They'll want to see them progress. They're very, very ambitious. And this will be a cold-hearted business decision. Do you know what? It doesn't surprise me. And I think there is a case to say this should happen more often.
Cool.
I wonder if Leeds have had a look also at what's happened in this year's Premier League. Southampton kept faith with Russell Martin. They're getting relegated. Ipswich Town kept faith with Kieran McKenna. They're getting relegated. Leicester, who are the other team who've gone straight up and are coming straight back down again. Slightly different because Enzo Maresca left of his own accord and went to Chelsea. But they employed Steve Cooper, who had previously taken Nottingham Forest up, had just about got them to just survive, but got sacked nonetheless. And
should have kept him.
Well, can you argue against Nuno Espirito Santo taking them to third? Would Steve Cooper? No, you can't. You can't. I mean, it was a very harsh decision at the time. There was a lot of head scratching. There was quite a lot of anger amongst Nottingham Forest fans. But the reality is, look at them now.
Oh no, I'm not talking about Forest should have kept him. I'm talking about Leicester should have kept him rather than get rid of him.
It might not have been enough, but I think they would have had a better chance of survival under Steve Cooper. Yeah, I think that was a harsh decision, and ultimately, it's been proven to be the wrong decision. Yeah. So I wonder if Leeds have looked at that and they know and they can see managing in the Premier League is very, very different to managing in the Championship. Everything is different. The skill set is different. The spotlight is different. The profile is different. The money is different. Everything about it is different. And there is a reason why there are only two maybe managers of Premier League teams who have what I would call done well, i.e. survived. And I'm thinking of Nuno, who did very well in Wolves and took them up from the Championship. But since then he's been at Tottenham and elsewhere, and he's now at Forest. Eddie Howe, who obviously did it with Bournemouth and did a great job and is doing a brilliant job at Newcastle. Beyond that, when you look down the Premier League table, there aren't managers who manage in the Championship because it's very, very difficult. And Leeds and the 49ers, they're not in this for the fun. They want to build Leeds. They want to. Anybody who remembers Leeds in the 90s when they were competing in Europe and at the top end of the Premier League, that's why they want to get them back. They've got the capability. They've got the finances behind them. They've got the support behind them, undoubtedly. Leeds United could be a very, very big club, but what they don't want to do is take the risk of them coming straight back down. And unfortunately, Daniel Farke's record, whatever he's done this season, his record in the Premier League, would suggest that is the direction of travel they're going to take.
I think that's the case. It'll be very interesting to see. One of the things when I was thinking about this item, when was the last time a Premier League club hired a Championship manager from the Championship? Someone who was doing really well in the Championship and someone at a Premier League level said, let's give him a chance. I can't remember that happening. It must be years ago.
That's a great question. That's a great question. I'm going to have a think about that in the time that we've got left, because there will be one, but I can't think what it would be. I'm looking down the table now, and I'm thinking
none of the current ones are that. And is there? It's sad really that a Premier League club, if someone is doing a brilliant job in the Championship, a Premier League club doesn't say, "Hey, there's a manager for the future. Let's get him into the Premier League." The stakes are too high. There
was a lot of talk about Kieran McKenna going to Brighton, and he was actually linked with the Man United job. But that was after he got Ipswich promoted.
Yep.
So it was
I'm talking about before people get promoted, just on their skills as managers, just doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't happen anymore. And you could argue with good reason, because if you're a manager that can't get a team out of the Championship, what chance have you got of surviving in the Premier League?
Yep, I get it. I see it. But it used to happen, and it doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you what. Here you go. Frank Lampard. There you go. I knew there was one. Frank Lampard managed at Derby and got poached by Chelsea.
There you go.
It was slightly different circumstances, but yeah, he was manager at Derby, took them into the playoffs, lost. We're going back, 2018-19, lost to Aston Villa in the playoff final. Villa went up, we stayed down, and Frank left to go to Chelsea.
There you go. We've nailed it.
There you go.
Well done, Nick.
And it was right on our doorstep as well.
What's the matter with us?
The answer was right with us.
So, a couple of other things, a couple of other things to update you on, and then we'll get into part 2 of what is proving to be quite an interesting episode, if I say so myself. Bioniq, Global Sports Podcast Network, partners with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Because your body, and I'm looking at you, Nick, is unique. Because without knowing what deficiencies you have, taking off the shelf supplements, why are these things always on the shelf? Why aren't they just on the counter? That's weird, isn't it?
Well, because if they're all on the counter, there'd be no room to serve anybody.
Yeah, by the way, I should say to you,
the counter would be absolutely rammed if every product was on the counter. You could walk into the shop, you wouldn't be able to see anybody. You wouldn't be able to see the till. You'd have to get on you have to jump up and down. I know.
Saying it.
You have to get
I went into Boots, actually. I should just in passing. I went to Boots yesterday, and because I'd heard they sell Viagra there, and I said to the lady on the counter, "Do you sell Viagra?" She says, "Yes, we do." And she says, "Can I get it over the counter?" And she says, "Well, you need to take 2 for that." Nick's just shaking his head. Right, so Bioniq provide 100% of tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs, exactly the right levels to help optimize your health. No guessing, Nick. Click the link on the show notes, use the code GSPN2025 for your 40% discount off Bioniq. You don't get any discounts off Viagra these days, that's for certain. But you buy them in bulk, so you probably do.
If you're going to start with your rubbish jokes, I'll find some tumbleweed for next week.
Right, here we go. So you keep nagging. Oh my word, listen, you can't believe it. He's nagging all the time. I've got certain rules. You've got to change these rules. Got to change these rules. They really, it just goes on and on and on. But here's the opportunity, Nick. Tell us what rules you want to change in football, because I know you've got a couple.
This is a fairly irregular-ish kind of feature where, and it ought to be more regular, but we might run out of rules. Look, football's a great game, but it's still suffering from the fact the rules were written in sort of 1884, and quite a lot of them haven't changed. And one of the rules that has changed quite a lot down the years, it generally involves goalkeepers, and we all remember times where goalkeepers could handle a back pass, and that all got ruled out. It was after one of the World Cups, wasn't it, where teams were just playing back, just kicking. They're just waiting.
I think it was that West Germany Austria game.
I think it was exactly that. I think that's
notorious game.
That's exactly what it was. And so obviously that rule changed, and we've had various rule changes down the years involving goalkeepers. I am going to propose another rule change involving goalkeepers, because
here we go.
I'll tell you what's been happening quite a lot in the Championship this season, and obviously I watch Championship football every week. I've got a season ticket, and there's been a kind of tactical timeout happening this season, where on about 25 minutes or so, the goalkeeper, normally whilst the ball's right up the other end, just sits down and starts kind of holding his knee or rubbing his leg or something like that. And what happens is all the players alert the referee to it. The referee says, "Oh, goalie's injured." The trainer comes on, and when the trainer comes on, both sets of players sprint over to the dugouts and have a team meeting.
It's a timeout, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a timeout. It's a tactical timeout caused by a goalkeeper who is not injured, and then the game starts. Last week, and I've been thinking about this for a while, but it kind of really came to the front of my mind last week when I was watching Derby and Luton. Every few minutes, the Luton goalkeeper just went down. for no reason whatsoever. Literally, there might have been a slight bit of contact. He might have actually kicked the ball, God forbid, and hurt his leg doing so. He just sort of went down. And the trainers came on, and all the players went over and had a drink and had a chat, and the game resumed. Now, under the rules of association football, when an outfield player goes down and a trainer comes off, they then have to leave the pitch for a period of 30 seconds. Okay, you know where I'm going with this now. That doesn't apply for goalkeepers because goalkeepers get special dispensation from quite a lot of the rules because they are in a unique position, and that's fair enough. However, I propose a rule change to stop this shenanigans, to stop this nonsense time wasting, to stop these deliberate timeouts now where goalkeepers are used as a tactic. Goalkeepers should be duty bound to be included in the rule whereby if they go down injured and the trainer comes on, they have to leave the pitch just like any outfield player.
Wow, that would stop it instantly.
Yeah, unless, and there has to be one caveat here, and the only caveat will be unless they are facing a direct shot on goal. So it's a corner or a free kick or something like that. That would be unfair. Yeah. But if the play is in a neutral area, get them off the pitch, stop them time wasting, and it make the game a bit more exciting because everybody shoot from everywhere.
Even if they're genuinely injured.
Yeah, why not? Listen, when a goalkeeper's genuinely injured, literally,
his face, you're saying, no, go and stand by the corner flag for a week.
But no, not a week, maybe too much. I was thinking 30 seconds.
Fair enough.
Look, when do you
God, you've been harsh today, haven't you? All the way through this.
What is the percentage? I need somebody to find me. If you're listening out there and you know this, or you can find it out, what is the percentage of the amount of times goalkeepers go down injured, in quote marks, and they are actually injured? Like properly injured, so they require the trainer. Not they go down and have the trainer on. They're properly injured. It's minuscule.
It is. It is minuscule. I agree with you. We need to do something about it because at the moment, maybe the thing to do about it is to allow tactical timeouts. Happens in many other sports. Is there a 22.5-minute tactical timeout? Why not?
Or have one per team per half or something like that.
Yeah, manager can call a timeout.
Yeah, but in volleyball,
timeout now.
That's it. Are we having a timeout now?
No, we're not having a timeout.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they do it in volleyball, tactical timeout, and each coach gets 3, I think. And so, yeah, why not something like that? But this has got to stop. This goalkeepers thing's got to stop. So that's my proposed rule change. I've got another one for next week, by the way.
Okay, I've got a quick one, by the way, which when we started talking about this, I was just alerted to the ridiculousness of this. And it might tell me if I'm barking up the wrong tree here, Nick.
You're barking up the wrong tree, Ken.
Thanks for clearing that one up. Okay, we can. No, it's not. It's about throw-ins. Aren't throw-ins a ridiculous invention when you think about it? We talked about when they were inventing the rules in 1842 or whatever, and someone would have said, "What happens if it goes out behind the goal behind the goal line? What's a goal kick? It's a goal kick. We just kick it back in play. Oh, yeah, okay, great. What about if it goes out on the sidelines? Oh no, we use our hands for that. What? It's football. No. It'd be great. Honestly, if it goes out of the side bit, we'll throw it in. Yeah, okay. Why not? And but you can't just throw it in. Like with just one hand, we throw it. No. You've got to have 2 hands, and you've got to release it before the ball goes over the kind of crown of your head, like loopy. And they all sat around that table and said, "Yeah, okay, let's give it a try." And it's still there now. Now you're a ref.
I am. I think you should have your pipe out for this little segment. It's got Ken's pipe. Yeah, it is that. It's got the rule. You look like one of the guys who in the 1800s was thinking up this rule right here, right now.
I wouldn't have thought it. It's ridiculous. Why don't they? The rules around foul throws are stupid. If we want to throw it in, if we really want to use our hands to throw it in, I don't know why. Why don't we just kick it in? Why don't we allow it to be one hand, and then you can literally propel it 70 yards?
Well, I think that's probably the point why they use 2 hands, because it's just a bit of an unfair advantage. But then I suppose if what you're arguing is that you put your pipe down, Vicky. If what you're arguing is is the alternative being kick it in. Well, you can kick it the same length that you can throw it. It's a really interesting one. I'm going to find this out. To be fair, it's not often you come up with something that stumps me. But what is the history of why is it throwing and not a kicking? There will be a reason.
You wouldn't find it in any other. You imagine going to play hockey and like it goes out, and they say, "No, you can't use your stick, mate. You've got to
use your elbow. You've got to elbow it in. Yeah,
you've got to nose it in." I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway, so that's my thing on throw-ins, and it's just something I want to get off my chest. Really.
Well, I think you're quite right. And interestingly, my other proposed rule change involves throw-ins, and if it gets accepted, then your wish will be granted.
Woo! Looking forward to that. We're keeping that for next week. We should have a completely a kind of a rules meeting, one of these things. We just changed all the rules of football.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
So, predictions. I mean, we talked about Derby and Luton. We talked about Wrexham and Wycombe. Nothing is tight. Nothing is as competitive as Nick Britten against Ken Davies in the Prediction League this year. 70 plays 72.
Am I still winning?
You're still winning.
Get in, because I didn't know how bad a week I might have had last week. Because I can never remember what I say, and I can never remember what you say. And I'm always convinced that you give yourself an extra 2 points here.
I use to my advantage quite regularly. So we've got 7 games. We've got 9 games. We've got 7 in the Premier League, got 2 in the FA Cup. So I'm going to whistle through them quickly. I'll go first. Chelsea against Everton is a draw. Nick?
Is this at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah.
I'm going to go... draw.
Don't be doing this to me.
No, I don't mean to. I was actually thinking about maybe Everton could win it. I mean, they had a good away win at Forest the other day. And they're on really good form. Chelsea's season is just folding, but bizarrely, they're still kind of in the European places. They've still got someone to play for.
A
draw, yeah.
Okay, you can go first on this one. Brighton against West Ham.
God, two poor sides. The Graham Potter dream at West Ham is turning very sour.
They've been poor all season.
They really have.
I mean, this year.
They even allowed Southampton to take a point off them last week.
Shocking.
Brighton's season has fallen away as well, to be honest. It's fair, but I think I'll go home advantage here and home win.
I'm afraid I have to go the same. Newcastle against Ipswich, not even worth putting down. Ipswich. And Newcastle got battered, didn't they, against Villa?
Newcastle got taken apart second half.
They did.
I mean, Villa absolutely ripped them to pieces. They were really
good. I thought Villa were very impressive.
Yeah, I thought Villa were great. No, it's all over for Ipswich.
Yeah.
Newcastle have got far too much to play for still.
Yeah.
Home win.
Yeah, here's an interesting one. Southampton against Fulham. You can go first on this one.
Yeah. Right. So Southampton have been relegated. Now, that can sometimes mean that they play with a bit more freedom. It can sometimes mean that they take the shackles off. Equally, they're also pretty rubbish. Fulham, I mean, they deserved a draw against Chelsea the other day. I think they played pretty well. It's a difficult one. I think I'll still go Fulham. I mean, they are just sort of ending up in mid-table now. I think so. Away win.
I've got a draw. Right.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Wolves v Leicester, home win.
Yeah, let's not even bother talking about it. Yeah, home win.
Fair enough. I'll put you down for home win. Bournemouth against Man United. You can go on that first on that one, Nick.
Yeah. Well, Bournemouth. I mean, look, Bournemouth season's over. Man United season's over. Bournemouth now can't. I mean, look. Yes, technically and mathematically they could get into Europe, but they are a long way behind Villa in 7th and Chelsea in 6th. 8 points is a big gap to make up at this stage of the season. Man United are just totally and utterly unpredictable. I don't know. I've no idea how this game will go, so I'll go draw.
Draw, interesting. I'm going home win. Liverpool against Spurs. Again, is that a formality?
Yes.
Spurs
Liverpool need a point to win the title.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be like a 4-0.
Right, I've just thought of a really interesting twist on this game, which you're going to apply at the end. You don't even know about this. I've only just thought about it 2 seconds ago, but you'll like it. Right, FA Cup, 2 games in the FA Cup, 90-minute rule applies, as always. Palace against Villa.
Well, my heart says Palace, obviously. I've got, a great emotional link to the club. My head says Villa. I think they're on really, really good form. And the way they took Newcastle apart last week, I thought was amazing.
Impressive.
I thought they played well against Man City and were unlucky to lose in the dying seconds there. So Palace, though, they're coming on strong. They played. By the way, I don't know if you saw this last night. They played really well against Arsenal.
Yeah,
and I mean really well.
They did great to come back in that game twice.
Yeah. So it's going to be tight. It should be a really good game. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be
2 attacking teams.
Yeah, I think Villa will have the edge.
Okay,
as much as I don't like to say it, I'm going Villa.
Okay, I'm going draw 90 minutes. Forest against Man City, another real tight one.
Yeah, again, this could be a cracking game. This really could be a cracking game. I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to go Man City because I just don't want Forest to win. It's as simple as that.
Not really a very way of going about it.
It's as scientific as the rest of it, quite frankly.
Fair enough. And I'm going to go for a draw 90 minutes there. Now, here's the twist.
You're just sitting on a fence, aren't you? Blimey.
No. These are well-reasoned predictions. Here's the twist, Nick. You can change one of mine and I can change one of yours. That's a great twist, isn't it? We're going to do that for the rest of the season. You can change one of mine. Which one do you want to change?
I'm going to change. I'm going to change Wolves versus Leicester to an away win.
And we can't. The other rule is we can't change the same game. So I've now got Leicester to win at Wolves.
Yep.
Well, therefore, you're having Ipswich. No, you're having. Oh, I'm tempted to have Forest to win. No, I'm having. You can have Spurs to win away at Liverpool.
Okay.
Isn't that a great? That's a great twist, isn't it?
That is a great twist. And do you know what? If your change of my prediction is right and Spurs win at Liverpool, it'll be really funny. It will be really funny.
I'll never do it again. Right. So brilliant. That's been that Saturday feeling. You know what? All the way through this episode, I did have a Saturday feeling. Did you?
No, because it's Thursday night. We normally record on a Friday, but it's Thursday night. So
We're just messed up completely, aren't we, this week? It feels like Bank Holiday Monday still. Brilliant. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope your team wins 117-3, wherever you're playing.
I'll be disappointed with 3. If we let 3 in, having put 117 past the opposition.
It would be.
I'll be having words with the keeper, I'll tell you that.
Brilliant. Have a great week, everybody. That's been That Saturday Feeling from the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network that brings you this kind of nonsense.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.